Hey everybody, we are reading Copper Sun by Sharon Draper, and we are on chapter 40, which is entitled Time to Meet the Future. They slept the rest of that night under a tangle of branches that might have been left by a storm. They woke to warblers singing, making melody with a red and black woodpecker that tapped a bead on the trunk of a tree. Amari stretched, then announced, "Today we go to find Fort Mose. It is time." "We gonna find food there?" Tidbit asked, rubbing his tummy. Polly grinned happily. "I expect so. Time to meet the future," she said. "How long is it gonna take?" Tidbit asked. "Not sure," Amari replied. She knew they were close, but she had no idea whether it would take 2 days or 2 weeks to arrive at Fort Mose. Overcome with the enormous thought of finally reaching their destination, Amari felt herself filling up with emotion. She wanted to shout, scream, jump. They had finally arrived. The three of them climbed back up on the old horse, then headed due south. Amari felt comfortable as the horse ambled slowly through the thick strands of palm trees that shadowed them, for they might have heard the palm trees in her homeland so far away. She slid off the horse with Tidbit and walked for a few miles. "What this place be like, Amari?" Tidbit asked. He alternated between running off to chase a dog and returning to hold her hand. "Don't know for sure. People be kind, I hope," she replied. "What if they don't like us?" Tidbit continued as he tossed a stick to Hush Puppy. "Who not like you?" Amari said to him with a laugh. "You be such a clever little boy." "Will my mama be there?" Tidbit asked seriously. He had never removed the pouch his mother had placed around his neck. Amari stopped short. She knelt down on the ground as she was eye to eye with Tidbit. It seemed to Amari that he had grown taller and gained maturity while on this journey. He had seen so much in his few years. "Teeny love you very much, you know that." Tidbit nodded, biting his lip. "She can't be here with you, but she knows you be safe, and that make her happy." "Is she all right?" Tidbit asked. "Your mama is glad because she know you be full of joy. That make her smile so big. That smile find you here in this far place." Amari paused, remembering Teeny's lessons and her sacrifice. "Why you think she give you that piece of kente cloth you wear around your neck?" Amari asked him gently. "So she always be with me?" the boy replied. He had begun to tremble. "What did your mama keep a-telling you while you be with her?" She tell me stories about Africa and about her own mother, and she tell me, long as you remember, ain't nothing really gone." Amari blinked away tears, hugged him. You gonna always remember?" "I ain't never gonna forget nothing she don't tell me," the boy said with great seriousness. He squeezed the leather pouch. Amari raised Tidbit's face so he would look around. "She be in every breeze and cloud, every leaf and flower. She's smiling at you right now." Tidbit thought about that. Then he asked her solemnly, "Will you be my mama now, Amari?" She hugged him tightly. "Oh yes, forever I will be. You be my little boy, always." "Polly be there always too?" "Always," Amari promised again, even though she knew that keeping promises was sometimes impossible in life. He hugged her back, then asked quietly, "Is I still a slave, Amari?" Amari looked at the boy with love. "No, Tidbit, you no slave. You free man, just like your mama dreamed. You never be slave again." The boy grinned at that. "You be free too, Amari?" Amari looked up at the vast, clear sky and exhaled. "Yes, I be free too. Never no slave no more." Amari thought back, however, to what Polly had said at the start of their journey. Freedom is a delicate idea, like a pretty leaf in the air. It's hard to catch and may not be what you thought when you get it. Amari wondered if this long and arduous journey would bring her the happiness she dreamed of. Excuse me. Maybe this place would turn out to be a terrible disappointment. That afternoon they finally saw it. The place they had dreamed of for so long. For a moment they could only stop and stare. Fort Mose. Fort Mose. The fort itself was a tiny structure, actually, only about 20 yards square. Surrounded by a wall made of logs covered with dirt, it carried no markings to indicate what it was, but Amari knew in an instant that this was the place. Surrounding the walls was a ditch filled with those prickly palmetto leaves that had sliced them when they ran from Nathan's house. Soldiers, both black and white, patrolled outside the wall, and she assumed more stood watch inside the watchtower, which stood higher than the walls. Outside the walls of the fort, small houses with roofs of thatch dotted the landscape, huddled close together as if for protection. Small gardens grew near each house. "It'd be much smaller place than I thought," Amari whispered. "Nathan was right about the streets of mud," Polly said with a small laugh. Freedom not big, freedom not pretty, Amari declared, but freedom sure do feel good. All right, so we finished up chapter 40, and they finally reach Fort Mose, which is a pretty small fort down in Florida. Mari, of course, thought it would be a little bit bigger just with the stories of Cato, her own expectations. We see it's fairly small place. We also come to the realization, or Tidbit comes to the realization, that his mother is not going to be there. He finally comes to terms with that. Remember, he had been talking since he left how he wanted to go back to the plantation, be with his mother, which is understandable because we have to remember Tidbit is only 4 years old. And he finally, understands and grasps the realization that he'll never see his mother again and that he's finally free. So his mother sacrificed a lot just for him to be free, so he won't have to go work in the rice fields. Because that's what was going to happen to Tidbit. To be 100, like, it seems really sad that they separated, but to be real, like, he was going to go out to the fields. Like, he was going to, maybe possibly the Derbys may have put him in the house. Maybe possibly Teeny could have, finagled a way for her son to be in the house or not be in the fields. But more than likely, once he got old enough, or if he did something that Mr. Derby didn't like, or Clay didn't like, because Clay was even worse than Mr. Derby, he was going to go into the rice fields. So, him being here in Fort Mose, he has more opportunities, or so they're hoping. They still don't know exactly what's going on. It's kind of foreshadowing, because you would think like you'll just be 100% free, but we're not really sure. Like Amari said, like it's not going to be like it was back in her village, where you just had to live life and embrace your culture. What does freedom mean now in the Americas? Even though you're in Florida, which is Spanish territory, what is that going to mean to Amari and Tidbit? And also, what will it mean to Polly as an indentured servant? So now she's here. She doesn't have to stay. She can go anywhere, as long as she change her name and looks, and, she might be all right. But, what does this mean for this trio now that they're here? So, and we will find out in the next chapter. So thanks for reading with us, and I'll see you in the next one.